At about 12 o'clock, sit down, make an early cocktail, cut a gummy in half.
What's a gummy? A gummy.
Cut a gummy in half.
Keep listening.
Cut a gummy in half. Put 10 dimes on Colorado. It's by Colorado and Deion. That's been the game. So by 3:25, I'll be sitting down with my shorts, little T-shirt, cocktail. I'll have the other half a gummy.
Oh, you save it for later?
We'll bed the ranch, and I will go crazy with a buff on Saturday afternoon.
Welcome to the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. Can somebody check on our man, Chris Russo? What's going on with Mad Dog? He put 10 dimes down in the game. I don't think that paid off. Right?
I'm concerned with the drug use, the betting, everything. It's just, it's not the greatest thing that we want to do. He's not a role model, kids. I'll just say that.
Hey, Mad Dog seemed a little more gangster than I realized, Sam. I'm just saying. I didn't know that you had that in your game, Mad Dog. Listen. I might have to hang out with him one weekend to see what's going on. But we all saw what was going on in this Oregon versus Colorado game. We've all been waiting for it, trying to see how this team would look like. One coach said they thought they would get boat raced. Well, let's go ahead and check out how this boat race is going. Coach Prime and the Bucks in Eugene to take on the Ducks. Phil Knight, he was there, the Nike's owner. The game was real, and we found out how real the Ducks were. First quarter, they drove all the way down the field and handed off to Noah Whittington to cap off a 10-play, 72-yard opening drive. Ducks go up 7-0. Now we go to fourth down. They're deep in their territory later in the first. Oregon says, psych, we're faking it. Casey Rogers, the big man, goes 18 yards, first down Ducks. Dan Lanning, you're a bad man. Later in the drive, Troy Franklin, he's had his apron on all season because he's been making the DB souffle. Catches it there to make them go up 21-0. Later in the quarter, Bo Nix throws a rope to Franklin. Whoop, there it is. As DJ Khaled would say, that's another one. 8 reception, 126 yards, and a touchdown. Ducks make it look easy, up 28-0. And then Bo Nix calls his own number here. Oregon up 35-0 at the half. He had 3 touchdowns on the day, and the first drive in the second half, Casey Kelly takes the handoff and goes in for the touchdown. They win big, 42-0. Listen, the Bucks, they were dancing on Oregon's sign. 42-6 is the final. The Bucks, they were dancing on Oregon's sign before the game, and now we see who's dancing. Shedeur did not have a great game. He had pressure in his face all day, and they get routed. It was a boat race, and now we're going to bring in Joe Tessitore and Jesse Palmer with us. They were calling the game, and guys, this result is what some expected, other people did not expect. So my question to you is, what did we learn from both teams today?
I think it's a good question, and I think, listen, I know you play the fun clip there with Chris Russo. This was a full gummy kind of day if you look at the box score. But I like the fact that you play the clip of Mad Dog, because I think he represents what a lot of people who are just looking on the periphery in the national view of Colorado, they got brought into it with the hype and with the feeling of this Cinderella story, and it can still happen. And then those who really know the roster, know the team, they looked at this offensive line and said, okay, this is going to be an issue.
Could be a problem. And the fact that I think Oregon felt very disrespected, expecting a lot of people to watch this game to see the prime effect. And they made a statement. They're reminding people, hey, we won 10 games a year ago. We got a Heisman candidate in our quarterback, Bo Nix, who went off today going 28 of 33. And we've got a defense with a lot of NFL talent, top to bottom. We are a team that should be in the college football playoff conversation, and they had the opportunity to make that statement against the hottest team in college football in Colorado, and they absolutely did that. There's going to be reverberations of this through the Pac-12, and everybody else that was watching, this Oregon team's for real.
Agreed.
Jesse, quick question here. You know, Matt Sims, want to get your opinion on just Bo Nix. I think he's a guy that's been very undervalued as far as the next level quarterback in his NFL hopes. Being a former NFL quarterback like yourself, what do you see from Bo Nix, and what will translate his game to the NFL on the next level potentially?
He plays fast, and he just processes things so quickly. And you do expect that from a guy that's the most experienced quarterback in all of college football. Today, that was his 51st start. This guy's played a lot of snaps. And you can tell when you're watching him, whether it's passing plays, whether it's the RPO game, he makes very good decisions. He makes them very, very quickly, gets the ball to his checkdowns early. And those are things that are going to translate to the next level. He has a very good understanding of what his new offensive coordinator, Will Stein, is trying to do. We saw it today. There are a bevy of weapons surrounding Bo Nix at the receiver position, tight end, and running back position. And you're seeing a guy in Bo Nix, Joe, who is just right now in total control of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, one of the comments that was made to us just yesterday is that it's like having another offensive coordinator on the field, and you could sense that very early today, guys.
Yeah, no question about it. And Tess, you're so great at putting things into perspective here, but I'm curious, like everybody is now asking the question in regards to Colorado, what now? Right? I mean, like, what happens next? Obviously, Deion.
There's no issue. There's no issue here with Colorado. There really isn't. This is a team that's already got 3 wins on a team that had 1 win a year ago. This is a roster that you have to completely transform with the transfer portal. You see the deficiencies at offensive line. You already know you have a master motivator head coach, a guy who can galvanize players, who can set a tone and a standard that you have to live to with hard discipline, what he will say is old school coaching, who made 2 outstanding coordinator hires, and things are going to be just fine. If you look at recruiting momentum, guys are picking up the phone and calling Colorado saying, I want to take a trip there. I want an official visit there. This is the reality that probably was going to happen. They were just ahead of schedule with some dynamic performances and a lot of drama early on. But if you told Colorado a year ago, hey, you're going to be 3-1 after 4 weeks, it's wow, that's incredible.
Yep.
Things will be just fine. But this is the reality when you're dealing with the offensive line that they're putting on the field right now.
Yeah, fair enough. Jesse, how about the Pac-12? I mean, this year, the conference seemingly is as good as it's ever been, and it's ironic that this is the conference's swan song, if you will. But just how great and how good is the Pac-12 this year?
It's really, really good, and I think you kind of got an example of that in this game today with Bo Nix. The thing that sort of separates the Pac-12 to me from a lot of other Power 5 conferences is the level of quarterback play.
That's right.
I mean, you saw Bo Nix just go off, and obviously we've all watched Shedeur Sanders and what he was doing through the first 3 weeks of the season, but you look at Michael Penix Jr. at Washington, you look obviously at Caleb Williams, a defending Heisman Trophy winner. Cam Rising at some point is going to come back for Utah. Cam Ward, what he's doing at Washington State. I mean, this is a gauntlet for any team in the Pac-12. Your defense better show up week in, week out, because the level of quarterback play that we're seeing is very, very unique. A lot of these dudes are going to be playing on Sundays.
Tess, Jess, thanks so much for joining us. Safe travels back home.
All right, keep it up. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys. All right, so it was great to hear from them, again, having just called the game. But they mentioned and talked about Dan Lanning, who had a message for his team prior to the game. Take a listen.
Rooted in substance, not flash, rooted in substance. Today, we talk with our pads. You talk with your helmet, right? Every moment. The Cinderella story is over, man, right? They're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins. There's a difference, right? There's a difference, right? This game ain't gonna be played in Hollywood, it's gonna be played on the grass, right? It's gonna be played on the grass.
That message clearly resonated with the players today, right? I mean, it was well received.
He didn't take a gummy. I know that. He might have taken something else, but it wasn't a gummy. All right, but
Red Bull or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Fired up.
Yeah, you could feel the energy and just the pace and anger in which that coaching staff felt about how their team was maybe being a little undervalued to the rest of the country.
Yeah, I'm checking out the chat right now, and a lot of them are saying Colorado got humbled. It's about time that they lost, that they got this L. And yeah, I get it. It's either you love Deion and Colorado or you hated them. And I think the people who hated them feel real good right now. But I go back to what Tess said. They're 3-1 to start the season. And quite frankly, I said this last week, I thought that they were going to get blown out in this game because there's a number of factors for Colorado when you look at them that you say they're weak in this area, and specifically their offensive line. Shedeur took a whole bunch of hits, and he had constant pressure in his face all game. And it showed today, especially against some high competition.
And it's not going to change. So that'll be something that Sean Lewis and the offensive staff will have to continue to go to the drawing board, create new ways to get the football out of his hand faster and take care of him as the season continues to go versus good defenses. And like we've said earlier, even off the air, you're going to tune in to watch this.
Yeah.
Whether you're there to promote it because you're a fan of Deion, or whether you're there to watch the dumpster fire of them potentially losing too. It's just like Notre Dame football. You either love them or you hate them.
Real quick, though, before we move on, does your opinion of Colorado as a team change after what you saw today on the field?
They're the exact same team that I thought they were the first 3 weeks of the year. They're an exciting team. They're a young team. They're led by a guy that has great energy and enthusiasm, and he is extremely transparent and honest with who he is and his team. And I'm going to continue to watch despite their record.
What was that famous quote from the football coach? They are who we thought they are, but they didn't let them off the hook. They kept them on the hook.
No,
They're exactly who they thought we were.
We're on the same wavelength here, right? And I agree with that. It's awesome. It really is. And it's going to be fun to watch. And I hope Travis Hunter comes back healthy, too, because they do need him on the football field. But yeah, there's some obvious issues with this football team, and their success will be limited because of the depth on their roster.
Right. All right. So that game was kind of a stinker out in Eugene. I'll tell you where it was not. That would be down at Clemson. Number 4 Florida State in town. Push comes to shove for Clemson here. Cade Klubnik and the Tigers taking on number 4 in the country. Second quarter, we pick it up. Clemson up 3, second and goal. Klubnik up the middle. Little QB sneak here to take it himself. Clemson will jump out to a 10-0 lead. And they love it down there in Death Valley. Later on in the quarter, same score. Jordan Travis on the move here, finding a wide-open Keon Coleman, Maddie.
Oh, I love this play design. Really good job. Clemson is just selling out on just trying to double as much as they can on the outside. Great play design. Keon Coleman, a little stutter at the line of scrimmage, fake receiver screen. You see the little jab, and then full sprint right to the goalpost. Jordan Travis can't miss that one.
Keon Coleman didn't get that much targets last week. He got those targets this week for sure.
No tweets after this game for Keon. Move on to the third quarter here. Game knotted at 17. Will Shipley will take it for the carry. This has kind of felt like a coming out party for the Will and Phil show for Will Shipley and Phil today. That was
it was really good. 41 carries for 146 yards in the offensive line.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Matt. Someone just got rocked.
That would be Kalen DeLoach taking it all the way back to the house after the hit, too. So we got the hit. Got the fumble and taking it back all the way.
Trifecta.
Seminoles tie the game at 24. This is crucial here because it kind of flipped the game on its head. Fourth quarter, Clemson a chance to win. Jonathan Wheats with a chance to win it. Minutes left, and he hooks it left. Great story there. Jonathan was no longer on the team. Wasn't a part of the program. And Dabo called him to come back, say, hey, you want a kick? He said, sure. Not able to come up with the big-time kick there. Here, overtime we go, and who else? Keon Coleman.
With the head.
Catch. Oh.
My God. He hit him with the fade like Boozy, man. Like the haircut that I usually get. I like it.
Last chance for Clemson here. Too little, too late. And Florida State escapes once again back-to-back weeks. This was a back-and-forth game, kind of all the way around, both sides. Let's start with Florida State here and Jordan Travis, because he got banged up against Boston College last week.
Yeah.
He got seemingly injured again a little bit in this game. What did you see from Jordan Travis in this one?
I'm seeing a lot of toughness. I'm seeing a lot of grit from this young man. And it's really important because this team needs that leadership. And you just saw it throughout the game. You know, it's more so about the plays for him that he doesn't make, right? He doesn't force a lot of plays where he puts his team in vulnerable situations. Look at the win probability of this game. So, you know, as a starting quarterback, you are kind of riding the wave of what that looks like right now. And he did a great job of just being steadfast, playing tough, taking what the defense gives him. Really did a good job, too, of creating plays outside the pocket, especially before the halftime, right? That 2-minute drive was absolutely huge. He did a great job extending plays, finding Keon Coleman on that big 39-yard gain down the sideline. So those plays were tremendous by Jordan Travis, and he's done a fantastic job this season of weathering the storm.
Scoob, it was pretty clear early on both defensive coordinators wanted to get pressure on their opposing quarterbacks. What do you see in that part of the game?
Both quarterbacks were pressured more than they have been the entire season. We talked about Jordan Travis. So Jordan Travis, he was blitzed on 43% of his dropbacks today, but at the same time, he was able to punish them the times that they weren't able to get pressure on him. And one of the times they didn't get pressure on him was this play right here in overtime. Clemson could not get there on time to get in his face. Now, he did struggle when they were able to get some pressure on him. And it was the same thing for Cade Klubnik with the way that they were dialing up the blitz. We saw both teams really trying to get after these quarterbacks, but at the same time, these quarterbacks made plays when it mattered, which is why you saw that win probability going like this. At times, they made the play. And then at another time, the defense was able to make the play and get the scoop and score on the sack fumble.
Yeah. Lastly, before we move on, this kind of felt like a battle of ideologies, too, between these two schools. And we talked about the transfer portal and how Clemson didn't exactly use it. They only brought in one transfer this year. Well, Mike Norvell has utilized the transfer portal over the last couple of years, and his team is kind of stacked and at least poised for a college football playoff now.
Clemson is going to look at this film, and they are going to be very disappointed with themselves because they really were the more consistent team throughout the game.
Yeah.
The problem is, though, is that Florida State is dangerous, and they have the ability to score and make plays at any time with the disposal of guys like Keon Coleman that they got in the transfer portal.
Yeah, Keon Coleman was a man on a mission today. He was making any and every single play. And later on in the show, we're going to talk about some of the most impactful transfers in college football. I will have a list for you. But Keon Coleman, I mean, it was his 10th contested touchdown catch of the since last year. Nobody else in the FBS has more. The guy is able to make contested catches, make play after play, and we saw that today. And it's all because Mike Norvell made sure to go out and get a guy like him. But there was another impactful transfer, and that is Devin Leary, and he was playing for Kentucky against Vanderbilt. And don't tell Kentucky that they're a basketball school because they're undefeated taking on Vandy. First quarter, Juton McClain gets the carry, and he's on the run like DMC. Gets in there. 36 touchdown. Feeling real good. Kentucky on the board. It's 7-0. Still in the first quarter. Vandy with the rock. A.J. Swan leads the SEC in passing yards, but right here he's throwing it to the wrong team. Picked up by Maxwell Hairston. One of 3 picks on the day for Swan. 14-zip Wildcats. We go to the fourth quarter now. Everybody celebrating, feel real good in Kentucky, and I love those silver helmets, by the way, fellas.
2 helmets right there.
Devin Leary, I told y'all he's a special guy, and he's going to toss up a butte. To Dane, I got the key. Sheesh. Another look at it. He dropped off the defender at school and took his lunch money, which is why he got flagged for patting him on the head after the play. That blew the lead up even more. Kentucky goes on to win this 45-28. It's a great game for them, 4-0 on the season. The Blue Bloods playing well.
Yeah, the Wildcats are going to get the Florida-Georgia line treatment over the next 2 weeks, by the way. We'll keep it in the SEC. Auburn taking on A&M. Pick it up in the third quarter here. New QB and Connor Wegman
the big guy.
Picked up an early ankle injury in this game. That made way for Max Johnson, who found his brother on that pass there for the touchdown. Later in the third quarter here, Johnson going deep. He looked really good coming in this game. This was one of the best passes of the day, Matty.
Beautiful throw. A little questionable with the decision, but when you throw it that beautiful, it doesn't matter what the coverage is, right? Really good job throwing the needle there.
All right, fourth quarter now. Le'Veon Moss takes the handoff and powers in for the touchdown. Texas A&M gets the win there, and a much-needed win. That seat is still hot for Jimbo Fisher there. Auburn picks up their first loss of the season. All right, so over in Michigan, Jim Harbaugh is back after serving that school and imposed 3-game suspension. Rutgers coming into town. Perfect 3-0 start on the season for them. J.J. McCarthy was not great last weekend. He threw 3 picks in that game, but he looked a lot better, and Jim Harbaugh back on the sidelines seemingly is making a little bit of a difference here.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know how much of a difference he made. It would seem like the same Michigan team that we saw, the past few weeks, but J.J. McCarthy's ability to extend plays with his feet and make really impressive plays on the ground as an athlete today was really the difference in the game. And then, Rutgers started out pretty well, just not create enough on offense to create explosive plays to keep them in the game, and a few tough decisions on fourth down.
I will say this. What I've seen from Michigan this season that surprised me is the fact that Blake Corum in that rushing game is not going the way that it's supposed to. 5th in the nation last season with 238 at a game. Now they're 71st in the nation with 156 per game, and it's just not looking good so far with the running game. All right, let's go to Oklahoma taking on Cincinnati in their first Big 12 conference matchup. Great for them. We'll start in the first quarter. Dillon Gabriel off to a hot start this season, and he finds Nick Anderson here, and we got reservations for 6. Sooners take the lead. We go to the second quarter now. The most impressive thing about Oklahoma this season has been their defense. And you see it here.
Yes.
My Lord, Emory Jones picked off by Key Lawrence. The defense picked him off twice in this game. So start for Oklahoma offensively, the second fewest points in a conference game under Brent. But in the third quarter, Gabriel does it himself. Oklahoma up 17-6. We go to the fourth. Defense still holding it down. You know they got your back like chiropractic. In a wild way. Another look at it. They get the pick here. I don't know why he's throwing it here, Matty. But
Late over the middle, bad decision. Tips
Yeah.
and overthrows, baby. You got to get those.
Yeah, tips and overthrows. Gotta get those. Oklahoma goes on to win it 20-6.
Yeah.
Great game from Dillon Gabriel.
Again.
The third time this season that he's thrown for over 300 yards. And I'll just go ahead and say he won me a little change because I had his passing yards over. So Dillon, shout out to you, my boy. You helped me have a good weekend. But overall, we've been really impressed, Matt, with the way that Oklahoma has been able to handle things defensively. Yes, from an offensive perspective, they weren't able to explode like we've seen them all season. But the defense, wow, they stepped up big.
Yeah.
Oklahoma has now allowed fewer than 20 points in each of its first 4 games of the season. First time since 2000 that's happened. And the Sooners finished 13-0 that year and won the Natty, Matt.
It's unbelievable what a difference a year makes, with Brent Venables. And we heard him discuss that this offseason, how he's doubling down on himself as a defensive coordinator, as a play caller on that defensive side. And it's showing. This defense is ferocious. They are getting after the quarterback. They're affecting the quarterback in the passing game. No one's really running the ball super effectively on them either. So Brent Venables is doing a phenomenal job that way. Dillon Gabriel was this close to throwing for 400 yards today. There was a few opportunities early in the game where they just missed some home run shots. So it just shows you again that this team with the defense and their styminess on that side of the football, and then the explosive nature of their offense led by their quarterback, this is a real threat. This is a team that maybe is that TCU for this year to maybe make a run at the college football playoff.
I think it's about time we start talking about Dillon Gabriel in the Heisman conversation.
Totally.
Here. I mean, I think he's.
I've been saying it.
Well, I think he's, but at the national scale, I know you've been giving him the respect that he so deserves. But I mean, this guy went 28 for 31 last week. I mean, that was a school record, right?
I mean, most teams don't even do that in 7-on-7 in practice.
Right.
So it's impressive that he's doing it against real live people.
Real life. 11 touchdowns, 1 pick for Dillon Gabriel. We will make sure that Dillon Gabriel is in the Heisman conversation. Time now for Holy Cow. Some of the best plays that we have seen throughout the day with a twist on it. We also have some bruh mixed in with the Holy Cow. It doesn't get any better than that. But it starts with a game yesterday. Guys, NC State, UVA, Bishop Fitzgerald with a little tip drill to his teammate Sean Brown here for the interception. Take a look at this. Ooh. Okay.
Holy cow.
Teamwork makes the dream
right?
work.
That's what you're saying.
That's
yes,
right.
that's exactly what we're saying.
Tips and overthrows, got to get those, baby. That's a good pick right there in that situation.
It certainly was. So NC State comes away with the interception there. What are we going to give it score? 0 to 100? Get it up to 92.
Ooh, that's what you started off with. Okay.
Starting off with a solid.
I like that.
Solid
I like
A-.
that.
Like you
It's
said,
a good
you're
day.
a nice guy.
I am.
All right, Troy, right before halftime, seconds left, Gunnar Watson finds Chris Lewis on his head. Listen, the Hail Mary has been working really well the last couple of years.
Oh.
I
don't
gotta
know
like how
if
they
that was-
executed it.
If that was good execution or really bad just coaching and situation right there on the defensive end.
What do you got?
Well, I'm feeling good today. 98. 90, I know you're surprised. I'm feeling good today. We're going to drop that with a 98, ladies and gents.
Usually a tough grader. All right, Kentucky's Maxwell Harrison here jumps the route, takes it all the way back for a pick six. Maddie, this is all you here.
All right, so for the Vanderbilt side, this is a 0. And then for the Kentucky side, I gave this, what did I give this, a 90?
You went with a 90.
Yeah, I went with 90.
90 something.
I was
90.
90 something. You know, It's a passing grade. He's doing great.
That's not a good feeling, though, as a quarterback watching the guy running back the other way.
Absolutely not. And I've been there, my friend. I've scored many zeros like that.
All right. Kansas BYU. Kobe Bryant with a hit, scoop and score. Yes, sir. Take it back all the way. Dangerous.
Wow. What are you going to give that,
That's
Sam?
this is a
big hit.
That's a big
Clean,
hit. Clean hit.
Scoop
big
and score.
Hit, clean hit. We're going with a 100. All the way up to the top of the 100.
Is that your first 100 of the year?
That's the first 100 we're giving out.
He's a one-man show, too. I mean, he did it all. He didn't even need the rest of the team out there. He did it all by himself.
It's
I like
the
that.
first time that we saw that.
FSU Clemson, Kalen DeLoach throwing down the boom on Cade Klubnik. Listen, Cade, next time you better scramble like an egg or you'll get folded like an omelet. My God, the football gods also made sure that Kalen got the ball for the scoop and score. We call this a trifecta. You got the sack, you got the fumble, and you got the rock to bring it to the crib.
Look at the horses leading the way for him,
Oh
too.
my. Hundo, first one of the year. I gotta drop it. It deserved it on that one. I know you were questioning the other one, but that 100 was well deserved. That was deserved.
That certainly was. All right,
You're in a generous mood today.
Let's flip the script here because there was equally some interesting things that we saw today. How about Purdue quarterback Hudson Card going out to pass? It's a fumble, though, here. Devin Mockabee thinks the play is over. Darian Varner says it's mine, and he just takes it away.
What are we doing?
Come on, bro.
Everybody knows.
Did you hear the whistle?
Right?
Did you hear? Hey, I didn't hear a bell ring, Rock. All right? Got to keep fighting.
This is Pop Warner stuff. They say do not stop until you hear the whistle.
All right, Mario Kart, Cincy Bearcat mascot. What's going on here?
All right.
With the red, he should have hit
the red shell. That means he wasn't in first, though. That means
you're right.
Knocked him right off.
Listen, I'm a big Mario Kart fan, but did he really need to fall off? Flop. I'm calling flop. Find him.
Hell of a throw, though.
This is probably one of the best things that we saw today. The Oregon Duck coming out. We got a prime clock there. And he takes out a mallet or a bat of some sort. And
that's
he's going
that's
to
what
town.
they did to them.
Watch the hat. The hat. It's off. We got to run away.
In mascot language, code red. Code red. Gotta go back. Get the boys out.
Heads are falling off. All right, Auburn with the fumble return for the touchdown. What's Jimbo Fisher doing?
Get off the field, coach.
Jimbo, what are we doing?
You're not worth 15 yards.
You know what's funny? His team is the one that turned the ball over, so he got in the way of his own player catching up to the defender. That makes it even better. Come on, Jimbo.
I mean, Jimbo, make the tackle. You're there.
All right, that was pretty special. I think those are some of the best bruhs that we've seen so far.
It's very good. Yeah. Rightfully so, because this was a great day of football, and it seems to be getting better and better as it goes.
It's only getting better and better. And by the way, Vince Vaughn made his way over to South Bend, friend of College Game Day, and he got the crowd going with his pick.
The Buckeyes are for real always. You can never doubt them. That being said, I played for Notre Dame. I threw a pass. If I had half the heart of Rudy, I would have been All-American instead of picking games up here with you guys. Rule number 76, play like a champion. The Irish will prevail today.
I love it. The Rule 76, play like a champion. Perfect. All right, here's a look at the slate of games across the ESPN family of networks. LSU, Florida, underway right now. Florida coming off that huge win against Tennessee in the Swamp last weekend. Georgia hosting UAB here. Washington looks every part of a college football playoff team. Let's keep it with the Bulldogs here, though, guys. And Georgia's gotten off to some slow starts this year. What do you need to see from Georgia tonight against a team they really should dominate, Matt?
Against the Fighting Dilfers. That's who they're playing tonight. But you really just want to see domination from start to finish. You don't really want to see a lackluster start like we saw against South Carolina. So it's really just going to start about just starting fast on the offensive line, pushing them around, running the football effectively, getting back into the passing game very quickly, and explosive plays is something that I feel like they haven't been able to do a ton of early in the football game.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to add to Matty's point. I mean, only 10 points in the first quarter in their first 3 games this season. They need to have a better start because right now, I peg this question to everybody in the chat, and I'm going to ask the same question to you, Sam. Can you see Georgia being the best team in the country right now?
No, well, I think it's amazing, too, because we keep asking the same question every week, and I feel like that answers the question. If you have to keep asking, is Georgia the best team in the country every single week, then maybe they may not be the best team in the country. Here's a look at the top 10 in the AP poll here. Been well documented that the SEC has struggled. This is the first time since September 17th, 2017, the SEC has only one team in the AP top 10. Now, LSU is just getting underway against Arkansas right now. I am still of the belief that LSU has kind of been written off after their first week loss to Florida State. They still have Jaden Daniels, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the entire country. And his connection with Malik Neighbors is getting a whole lot better as well. I just don't think that we can forget about LSU as a whole.
No, we haven't really forgot about them, and we shouldn't either, because Jaden Daniels is a phenomenal football player, and I think Brian Kelly will know how to right that ship as they go. The problem is, though, is that just the whole SEC doesn't quite have the same vibe that they've had. The prestige of them, it seems like everyone else is catching up around them. What I know, though, is the SEC is the best business in college football, and that's not going anywhere soon. But I do believe that the SEC will have a champion that will have at least one loss. I do believe that Georgia will be handed a loss. I think the Florida team is actually a pretty good football team that's improving. Tennessee took a good step today.
You heard it.
Yeah,
he said it.
I'm saying it. I think Georgia will get caught in one of these games. They are going to get caught slipping. That 10 points in the first quarter, Todd Monken not being there is a legit problem. I don't know if you've seen the Ravens play, but that offense looks pretty good in week 2 in the NFL.
Hey.
So his influence, I think, is bigger than what we're giving it credit for. And I really do think that Georgia will get nicked here eventually.
Okay, no question about it. Also, a tough story, too. Greg Brooks, a safety for this LSU team, had to undergo emergency surgery to remove a brain tumor. It's tough because we saw Brian Kelly go in and kind of talk to Brooks, and Brooks made it very clear. He's like, I want to play football after and at the end of the season. I'm not sure, of course, if that's going to happen, but emotionally, this has got to be tough. And I know there were reports out there saying that it shook up both sides because he used to play at Arkansas as well, and they're playing each other tonight.
Yeah. To have a huge tumor, brain tumor, just think about that. I mean, it's bigger than football. We play this game, you get to go run out there in tights, chase around each other, and laugh around with other grown men. But when it comes down to that, where Brooks was dizzy and he complained about dizziness, and then he went and got a CAT scan, and they discovered the tumor, and he had to go under emergency surgery. It's a really scary moment, and we didn't find out how serious it was until late. So we're just wishing him the best, and I know the whole team is honoring him today and playing for him. So shout out to Brooks, and we're wishing you the best recovery, bro. Hope to see him on the field soon.
Yeah, as a young father, it kills me. Now that I have a young son, and I can only just, I can't even imagine what his family and loved ones are feeling for him. This is some of the great benefits, though, of being on a Division I football team is that they have fantastic resources. He was able to go in there and seek help because he knew something was off, and they were able to take care of him in a time where, if he would have let this go, who knows what would have happened. So credit to that medical staff and all of that over there, the resources that he had. And we wish him a speedy recovery because this is unbelievable, and it's a great reminder, again, that it's not just about football.
No, it's not. And again, we wish him the best. We hope he has a speedy recovery, and we certainly hope to see Greg Brooks Jr. out on the field at the end of the season. No easy way to transition here, but we are certainly going to try and talk about some of the quarterbacks that are in action tonight. A lot of quarterbacks that are exciting to see here, Scoob. Start with you. Who are you most excited to watch tonight?
Oh, man, I'm excited to see Jaden Daniels and Penix. Daniels for a few reasons. Now, he's coming off one of his best games of the season, really his best game that he's had at LSU for quite a while. He completed over 80% of his passes, which was a record at LSU, and he rushed for over 50 yards with 300 yards in the air. The first one to do that since Joe Burrow. But then I also look at Daniels going against this Arkansas team when he had a bad performance against them last year, sacked 7 times. Then Michael Penix, he's thrown for over 400 yards in every single game this season, and he's a second, right behind Caleb Williams in the Heisman conversation. So it's going to be fun to watch him just play because he's been tearing it up, Matt.
Oh, he's a phenomenal football player. I love Michael Penix. I love watching him play. The lefties are always intriguing to me. My matchups, though, right, for the QBs to watch, it's the Ohio State Notre Dame matchup. Kyle McCord the young green rookie, that's new to this big FBS world and all that kind of stuff. And then Sam Hartman, the guy that's been in college for 9 years. He should probably be a doctor by now. I would love to just see, how these two different people from totally different situations in their careers, how they handle the biggest stages of their careers.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go with Drake Maye here, and for a couple of different reasons. But Drake Maye has had a bit of a tough start to the season down there in Chapel Hill, and we've seen what he's capable of doing. I mean, he threw 7 interceptions all of last year. He's already got 4 this year. We all know he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Pro scouts love him. Let's see what he can do tonight against a Pitt team that is in dire need of a win. So my pick is Drake Maye. Time now to take a look at some of the picks that we are going to be making tonight. But first, how about some of the picks that have already been made? Scoob back in the game, going 2-0.
Hey,
boy, Scooby.
Hey, chat, listen up. Your boy had 2 dubs last week. I was over, and now we out here. And I see everybody in the chat talking about they're talking about the Ohio game and Notre Dame.
Yeah.
A lot of people got some things to say, but I got something to say.
What do you
Notre Dame in 4.
Whoa!
Notre Dame in 4. You feel me? That's who I'm going with. I'm riding with Notre Dame for this game, baby.
All right. Well, with that, Matty, what do you got?
I'm going Ohio State, man. Kyle McCord, Sims Complete QB, baby.
Okay.
He's one of my students that I've worked with in the past, and I got to go with my guy. I'm going with Kyle McCord and the Ohio State Buckeyes.
I'm going to go with Notre Dame here. First off, these two schools are 250 miles apart. How come this is only the 7th time that they are ever playing on the gridiron? I'm going to go with Notre Dame. I think, again, you have one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the entire game in Sam Hartman. Let's not forget, he's the ACC's all-time leading passer.
And let's not forget either that Audric Estime should be right up there in that Heisman ballot too, because that guy is an unbelievable runner of the football, and that's really where the game will be won, right? Can Ohio State protect Kyle McCord enough to hit those big shots down the field? Can Notre Dame run block well enough to expand Notre Dame's offense off of that?
All right, so that's one of the games that we're picking here tonight. How about another one out west in the Pac-12, which should now be called the Pac-2 because it is down to Washington State and Oregon State. We're going to pick this game. These two, it's worth noting, are united going forward, and they've made that clear. The presidents have talked on both sides. I believe that Washington State is going to be playing the fight song for Oregon State, and I'm curious if that's going to continue in the other sports, not just football. But it's an interesting dynamic here that we are left with. Before we make the picks, I just want to get your thoughts on what you think about this whole situation here, Matty.
It's really unfortunate because these are two teams that I think really are very talented and actually can make a run in their respective conference this year in the Pac-12. Make no bones about it. Oregon State is a team that is constantly overlooked because they're on the West Coast up there in the Pacific Northwest. And honestly, everyone here in the Northeast doesn't stay up late enough to watch them. But they're a really well-coached football team. DJ's playing phenomenal this year, too. So it's an exciting matchup, and it's something that we need to continue to pay attention to, especially because it is this last year.
These two teams are in unity right now until kickoff hits. And Washington State's president, Kirk Schultz, said Thursday that he's optimistic the two schools will come to a decision on what they're going to do with the conference, whether they're going to be continuing, what legal strategy that's going to be going on. So we'll be keeping an eye on what's going on with the Pac-12. Tupac, whatever you want to call it. But let's make our picks for this game because we got to pick it as well. And I'm going with the young quarterback that's been tearing it up. Nobody saw what Cam Ward was doing. We're riding with Washington State just so we can keep this thing moving.
DJ Uyunglele, baby, let's go. Oregon State, I'm doubling down on you. You know, new environment. You look great out there in orange. I love what I see. I love the offense. It's really diverse. They do a lot of different things. I think Oregon State's the more balanced football team.
All right, I'm going to go Oregon State, too. Contrasting styles between these two teams. Oregon State is going to probably put out a bunch of tight ends out there. It's going to be kind of a bigger group, and we've seen what Cam Ward, like you said, Scoob, what he can do airing it out. All right, we got more highlights now. Top 25 matchup. Number 22, UCLA. Number 11, Utah. Start of the first quarter here. First play of the game, UCLA with the ball. We got true freshman QB Dante Moore, who has been really, really good this year, but he's on the road. And there's Reed with the pick and the interception, taking it back with a pick six. Utah up 7-0. Late in the second quarter now, 1 minute left. Utah in the red zone. Nate Johnson finds Landon King for the 7-yard touchdown. Still no Cam Rising for Utah, who was their starting quarterback.
Surprising. I thought we would see him back out there today in a Pac-12 matchup.
Go late in the fourth quarter here. Dante Moore, good
Great
sign,
ball.
finding Josiah Norwood for the 17-yard tutty. Final score, though, Utah wins it 14-7. It is just such a tough place to go play and go win, Scooby. They just continue to win conference games at home.
Yeah, 16 straight games at home for Utah. That is only behind Georgia and Michigan. So that was also on my parlay to have Utah win this game because I was like, hey, no way a
Scoop's
freshman
made some money
quarterback
today. He's
coming
made some
in
money.
there and getting that dub. I'm just
He's
saying,
doing better
Matt.
than Mad Dog because he didn't take his gummies, so that's good. Yeah.
No, it was impressive to see what Utah does, but, I mean, without Cam Rising, can they continue to put up the numbers that they have been putting up? I think that's the biggest question going forward. I don't think we have any questions about the team.
Yeah, Miami has been putting up some numbers, too. They were taking on Temple, and we'll pick this one up in the first quarter. Tyler Van Dyke has been looking good this season, and maybe he's finding the right OC. Finds Xavier Restrepo there because X gonna give it to you, and that made it 7-0. Start of the second quarter, Temple in the red zone. E.J. Warner looks towards the end zone but gets picked off by Takori Couch. He could have been sitting on a couch and picked that off because that was way off target. Later in the second, Van Dyke says, I know my boy down there somewhere. Just toss it up. Kobe Young. That's how you get it at its highest point. 12-0 Hurricanes, third quarter. Van Dyke, pass complete to Restrepo. X gonna give it to you once again. That was a beauty. That was his third touchdown pass so far on the day. Miami goes on to win this 41-7, Sam.
And right there is the most important one. 16 rushes, 139 yards, and 2 TDs for Henry Parrish Jr. Played phenomenal. Miami has a lot of skilled guys that can make a lot of plays. Very tough to defend this team.
This was a really good one in Larrytown. Welcome to the Big 12 BYU here. Start of the third quarter, BYU leading at 17-14. Again, this was back and forth. BYU with the ball. Slovis rolling out, but it's deflected, intercepted by Kenny Logan Jr. for a pick six. Kansas leads it 21-17. Later on in the third quarter, Kansas leading 21-20 now. Daniels finding Luke Grimm for the 5-yard touchdown. Kansas leading it 28-20. 2 minutes left to go in the third. We're not done. BYU with the ball. Slovis airing it out, intercepted.
What are you doing, man?
24 yards to take it back. Top of the fourth quarter, Kansas in the red zone here. Daniels finding who else? Grimm. What a touchdown.
ball.
Kansas extends their lead 35-20. 8 minutes.
Man, Grimm's got that swag.
Yeah, he does. In the fourth quarter, first and goal, BYU. Keelan Marion finding his way into the end zone. Kansas still leads 35-27. They would end up winning it 38-27.
Jalen Daniels looking good. I mean, not much on the statistical standpoint, but efficient. 14 for 19, 130 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
The team just got it done for him, man.
Yeah, Kansas is going to be a team to watch, really. I mean, I think they are really well balanced. You see the skill set that they have on the defensive backfield, and just Jalen Daniels and his ability to just manage football games and make plays. We saw multiple plays where he keeps plays alive for longer than 10 seconds, it seems like.
Yep.
So his speed, his athleticism, his experience is really going to be the difference in this Jayhawks team.
Yeah, let's remember last year Daniels was in the Heisman conversation until he got injured. So
Right.
he has the talent to be able to make plays and get Kansas exactly where they need to be. This is another blue
Right
blood
there.
school
Yeah.
that's making a lot of plays, and that's a play that we saw where he literally had 10 seconds in the pocket to run
literally.
around.
Scoop was counting
You were counting.
Mississippis. We got to 12, I think, on that one.
1 Mississippi, 2. Am I counting too fast? 3 Mississippi.
You were counting pretty slow. I'll give it to you. You had a
In
ton
the
of time.
schoolyard, we'd be like, hey, sack! You know, but not with this dude at quarterback.
All right, let's head back over to the SEC. Obviously, one of the biggest stories this week is Jalen Milroe back under center for Alabama. Ole Miss and Alabama able to take it 24-10. I'm not sure that Nick Saban has coached a bigger game recently for Alabama. This was a massive, massive win for the Tide.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Jalen Milroe back at quarterback. He's the guy that should be running the show for the rest of the way. There is no question. He's the best quarterback on their roster. He gives them the best opportunity to make explosive plays in the passing game. He made 2 really bad decisions here today, especially in the red zone, and those have to be cleaned up. But I can live with those with the other plays that he makes. He made a phenomenal touchdown throw while he was getting absolutely crushed in the pocket today. He has toughness. He has some grit. He's going to continue to get better with more experience, especially with Tommy Rees adjusting to Nick Saban and how he wants to see things done. So Jalen Milroe, continue to stick it out with him, get him experience. He's doing great. Keep battling, and it was good to see that run game get going for Alabama.
You know, it's funny. Lane Kiffin was asking, I guess, to anybody who was running Alabama's defense all week this week. They put up 10 points. I mean, shouldn't he be more concerned about scoring points than who's running Alabama's defense?
Lane.
Lane Kiffin, he's a funny dude. You know, he comes in with a lot of drama. But I will say the Jalen Milroe, back to your point, Matt, him getting back in the game was the right call. And Nick Saban spoke about it earlier in the week, and he said the reason why he gave Ty Simpson and Tyler Buckner a chance is because Milroe made 2 mistakes in the Texas game that were really costly. They were up in the fourth quarter going against Texas, and those 2 mistakes ended up leading towards 10 points. Alabama lost by 10 points against Texas. Now you get Milroe back, and he was motivated by the fact that he was benched for the last game against South Florida. And what Saban ended up saying and bringing up in an example was Michael Jordan in his Hall of Fame speech, how Michael Jordan brought the coach that cut him, the guy who beat him out for the varsity spot, and another coach that benched him. Said that motivated him to keep going. So emotionally, I was hoping that would keep Milroe going, and I think we saw that today.
Let's not forget, Jalen Milroe is at Alabama for a reason. I mean, he is a talented quarterback.
Very talented.
Let's make no mistake about it. But how do you, if you're Tommy Rees, put him in the best position to succeed? Like, what schemes work best for a quarterback with Jalen Milroe's skill set?
You saw it today. I think they were really just doubling down again on trying to run the ball a little bit more effectively, right? So you're speeding up the game a little bit, right? They're taking away possessions from the other football team. The other aspect, too, Jalen Milroe might throw the prettiest deep ball in all of college football right now. So if you can get just one-on-one situations for him on the outside, like we saw Jordan Travis and Clemson today at the end of the game with Keon Coleman, run the football, be aggressive, pound the rock consistently, develop one-on-one opportunities for Jalen Milroe to throw that talented football down the field all the time, you know, as you continue to build that. But, you know, it's not a game of perfection, right? QB is about smoothing out the imperfections of your team. And I think he's the best option for this team going forward.
No question about it. All right, Alabama takes this one 24-10, although questions will still remain. Is Alabama capable of winning that SEC West? All right, let's check out some game-changing connections presented by AT&T 5G, where the coaches drew it up and the players got it done. Matt Sims and I are going to break down a couple of plays here over on the magical touchscreen. Matty, what do we got for today?
All right, so we went with 3 plays for Florida State today, right? Because these 3 plays were really the difference in the game. Here we are, second quarter, 5:18 left, right? It's a 3rd and goal situation. Florida State is in a situation where they got to score here. We got man coverage across the board right now. What Clemson's going to do is they're going to double down here in the boundary, and they're going to play man up top. Florida State does a great job of calling the perfect play at the perfect time. So we're going to play this out just for a second. We get motion coming down. These guys are now going to filter out these 4 defenders, how to cover these 3. We are going to do the old bluff, fake receiver screen here with Keon Coleman. He's going to set, look at the quarterback, and then he is going to sprint right through the goalpost just like that. These 2 other receivers are just going to run off these guys almost as like a fake screen, and watch the eyes of the Clemson defenders getting lost. He sees the receiver screen. He's playing through it. They're trying to play through all this window wash too as well. And we can see in this situation, look how close the Clemson defenders are. So close to the line of scrimmage. Now Keon Coleman does a little stutter step and go. Wide open over the middle of the field for the touchdown. Crucial play in the game. You see right now, everyone's back is turned here in the secondary. They have their eyes on this receiver screen. We're doubling back here on Johnny Wilson. Jordan Travis does a great job pumping the quick little receiver screen wide open over the middle for a big play.
Now, is that an option? Can he hit Coleman on that play in the early going, or is that a design play where he's going regardless through that slip?
He probably had a choice in that situation of being able to throw either to Keon Coleman to the strong side, a one-on-one opportunity to Johnny Wilson in the boundary, or potentially even maybe running a draw as well.
Okay.
But it looks like one of those plays where they had an answer for anything in that situation.
This is kind of where the tides turned a little bit. Clemson was driving here, and they were almost in the red zone. Florida State's defense came up big.
Oh, this was a huge play in the game, and this really was the difference in just Florida State getting more energy back into it. You got a 2-shell defense here on the back end right here, right? We have one backer here in the middle, and then we have a nickel backer all the way over here by that ACC sign right over here, all right? So what we're going to do, right? We are going to essentially pretend like it's a 4-man rush. The offensive line is going to slide over here to the left, right, and sort out these 4 defensive linemen. We are going to blitz. Look at me changing the colors again, Blair.
Look at you.
We're going to blitz the backer weak side
See
here,
you.
right? So a double weak backer blitz. Now watch these 4 offensive linemen slide across, right? The back has to be the one that picks up this extra defender over here. We play it out. See the offensive line and how much attention they're paying to this side of the line of scrimmage. This guard does a great job of getting this linebacker. The problem is that we still have a free runner coming from distance. So now this turns into a great coverage sack. Coverage down the field, blanketed. We got a 2-shell over here, deep half over here. Everyone is covered all over the field right now. Cade Klubnik has to hold on to the football. We have a free runner right at the quarterback. Violent hit, baby, on the QB. And then the scoop and score. Go get your money, player. That's what you did right there. Get that NL cash.
Yeah, and again, this really changed the face of the game.
It did.
Right? I mean, and then all of a sudden, Florida State gets this momentum, and we go to overtime, right?
We go to overtime,
and that
baby.
connection between Travis and Keon Coleman was so good all game.
No doubt, it really was. And this is where, the transfer portal, it's important for Florida State. Keon Coleman has been a difference maker for it. Scoob's going to mention it too here.
Yep.
And what we're going to see here in this situation, Clemson says, all right, enough funny business. We're going man coverage straight across the board. We're going to be tough. We're going to be gritty, and we're going to play it out just like that. All right, now, with this formation, we're going to get like a very simple just crossing concept, right? You see this all the time in the NFL. We're trying to pick to create room, right, and one-on-one opportunities. But you know what Jordan Travis does? Jordan Travis says, I don't care all about that other stuff that you're doing. I am going to take my one-on-one right here to the field. Why? Because that's my guy. My guy is better than your guy. So, hey, the X's and O's, it doesn't matter. Jordan Travis says, my Johnny is better than your Joe, all right? And that's what he's going to do. They play the play out. He sees the one-on-one. He does a great job of holding this safety in the middle of the field, right? Everyone's covering their man perfectly.
Easy money. Woo!
Man, right? Easy
That's one-on-ones right
Look
there.
at that spot right there. I mean, look, let's just draw a happy tree right here, like Bob Ross for the touchdown. An unbelievable game-changing play right there for the Florida State Seminoles.
Quick question, how do you know as a quarterback when to throw this ball up to that receiver?
We discussed it earlier.
If he's even, he's leaving.
And guess what, player? They're even, and that means he's leaving.
Throw it up, man.
4-6, baby. So he's even, he's leaving. Great job. And look, the coverage is legit. It is awesome.
Yeah.
But you can't cover a perfect throw against a high-class receiver like that.
Right, so Florida State escapes another really close one. Again, coming off of that Boston College win. But those were your game-changing connections presented by AT&T 5G.
What was it?
All right, go ahead. Yeah. We're taking a look here at the Ohio State Notre Dame game. It is tied at 0. Notre Dame is currently driving, and not much has happened in the game yet, but they're moving. It is 2nd and 9 in that game. And Sam Hartman, as we know, is a transfer that came into Notre Dame.
Yes.
And as we know, transfers are great for some programs. It helps you a lot. I see some people in the chat talking about, is Clemson getting enough transfers to come in? Who knows? That seems to be an issue with them. But we know that we had Matt come here and transfer to ESPN.
Yes.
And look how great our team is doing already, right? So let me talk to y'all about the top 5 transfers in college football. And these are my most impactful transfers.
What do we got?
We're going to start at number 5. And I'm going to have Adonai Mitchell. Ooh. All right? Adonai Mitchell.
Yes.
Adonai Mitchell.
Adonai, yep.
Coming in from Georgia, this dude is known as the Alabama Kryptonite. All he does is make big catches in big games. And we saw him do that earlier on in the season against Alabama. 3 touchdowns on the year. That is tied for first in the Big 12. At number 4, I am going to give you Devin Leary.
Ooh.
Coming in from NC State. Devin Leary had a lot of records over there, and he comes over to Kentucky, helps them get off to an undefeated start this season, and he entered today 5th in the SEC in passing yards. Great leader on and off the field. They're happy to have him there as a blue blood schools keep on winning no matter what. At number 3, some of y'all might expect this dude to be up a little bit higher, but I'm going to keep him where he is. Keon Coleman.
Oh!
Listen, Scoob! Hey, come on now, Matt. Listen, we saw what he would do, what he could do against LSU. That was the first clip where he just hurdled dude.
That's not him. That's actually Johnny Wilson.
Well, this one's Johnny Wilson, but we know Keon Coleman is a problem as well. He's the duo with Johnny Wilson. They added him to that wide receiver core, and Coleman caught 2 touchdowns today.
There he is.
Was huge and impactful. They wouldn't have 2 of those wins on their record without him being there. At number 2.
Is this list fluid, by the way? Is this a fluid list?
This list is going to keep changing over the season. It's fluid, as Stephen A. would say. And number 2, we're going to put Sam Hartman up over there. You see him playing there for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
They've broken a lot of records, and it is thanks to him coming over from Wake Forest. He had a lot of records over there, and now he has some records at Notre Dame. 40 points in every single game this season so far. First time Notre Dame has done that since the 1900s, and they have a chance at getting one of the biggest wins in program history tonight against Ohio State. And number 1, some of y'all in the chat may or may not like this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to go Deion Sanders. If this is going to go up. Okay, there it is.
There you go.
Deion Sanders is our number 1 impact transfer. When you get a school and a team that had only 1 win last year, nobody cared or talked about Colorado, but now it's all everybody talks about in college football. A lot of people are happy to see them go down. That's cool, but at the end of the day, they're 3-1, and you got to be happy with that after the bad season you had last year. I say Deion in Colorado because they had 86 transfers. You get that many people to come in. I can't give you just 1 impact transfer from that team. I got to give you more. So, Sam, we'll start with you. Anything you want to adjust on this list? Any guys you think should be there?
Well, I will probably agree with Maddie that Keon should be a little bit higher on the list. But my point is like, okay, how does Georgia feel right now? Because they could certainly use Mitchell, right? I mean, imagine if he stayed.
Definitely.
What Georgia would look like.
Yeah.
He was an explosive player. I think DJ Uyunglele should have been on that list. When you look at an Oregon State team who led the Pac-12 in all total purpose defense last year, all they needed was a quarterback. He has made a huge, huge impact, Matty. I love
that. That's a great call. I would say Keon Coleman. I would switch him with Prime. I'd probably would have
put him at 1.
I would have put Prime 5.
Yeah. Prime at 5?
I know, just because, we know how impactful it is. So I just want to show more love to, I guess, like the players for right now. Right?
All right,
but we know how impactful
Keon Coleman 1, Sam Hartman 2?
I would do that because we're always talking about the quarterbacks, especially me. That's all we do is talk about QB. So I want to give a shout out to some other players.
Big shout out to Jaheim Bell as well as honorable mention there. I mean, at Florida State with those weapons on the outside.
Jaheim Bell, we got to get him in there. Okay.
You really, honestly, Scoob, you did a great job.
We need to expand the list. That's what we need to do. We need to expand the list. All right, we're talking about Deion. Let's hear what he had to say after the loss today.
I don't say stuff just to say it for a click, contrary to what some may say. But, I keep receipts. But I'm serious. I analyze and I understand what we're up against and what we have and what we need. One thing that I could say honestly and candidly, you better get me right now. This is the worst we're going to be. You better get me right now.
You know what?
Hey,
hold on. Hold on.
Yeah. Why am I getting hyped up?
You know what?
I know. I'm like, let's go.
I'll explain why you're getting hyped up. The reason you're getting hyped up, and it's funny, he's right. That's why he's right.
He is right.
Because this is the worst Colorado is going to be.
The storm is coming,
right?
Yeah. It's not going. You see the storm in this, you're like, it's not so bad. But as it continues to get closer and closer, you're like, damn, this is a problem.
Because we heard we had Tessitore on our show earlier, and he said recruits are calling Colorado, wanting to come visit and play for this man.
Their problem will be, can they pick the right players that they need?
Sure.
That's going to be their issue because everyone's going to be wanting to go there. Can they filter through the guys that are there for the right reason, the players that they need to fit proper roles?
Well, there were some question marks, too, this week. Cormani McClain, like when was he going to make his appearance? He was one of the highest touted recruits coming out of high school. So, when was he going to potentially make that move? All right, where are we going next? We got live look into LSU, Arkansas here. Again, this was an emotional game for both sides here. Arkansas wearing the number 3 on the back of their helmets in this game, just to make sure that Greg Brooks knows that they are watching. Arkansas driving here.
Right now Arkansas is up 3-0 against LSU. Now remember that they did not play well when they went against Arkansas last year. Yeah, what a play.
In or out?
Fit that in right there.
He's in.
That was awesome. Great job. It's crazy, too, to see, actually, maybe not from that angle, but it's crazy to see that, all of those plays now are so routine in college and the NFL. And it just shows you just how talented and skilled and just the influence of like 7-on-7 football has had on football, right? Just the skill set of some of these guys now is so impressive. And it's just so rudimentary as far as what we expect now.
Arkansas's had some trouble scoring the ball, at least going into last year and trying to get into this year, trying to have some more explosive offense here. Where are we going here, 2nd and goal, Matty?
2nd and goal, I say, just pound the rock. Let's go. Let's go. Some sort of
you're 5 yards away. They got the box stacked
inside zone, yeah. A little option.
Whoa, inside.
Stuff. Great.
Really well played.
Yeah. Great rush by LSU. They were disciplined on that right there.
Very well played. Really good job.
Take a shot to the end zone here, right?
So here we go. We got this outside backer here, way outside the tackle box. He does a good job of pressing, but QB probably still could have pitched it to the outside there, so predetermined there. So I wonder if it was designed to pitch inside or if he could have read that out and stayed in that option. All right, are we in a 4-down territory right now? If you get stopped here, are you going for it on 4 in this situation?
Last time KJ Jefferson went against LSU, he beat them. He didn't play last year because he was hurt. So you have him back. I say you got to get him on the run. There we go. Get him moving. Give him the option to use his legs or not.
Whoa.
He's got a big body. I feel like he might have been able to plow his way
kind of indicates
through
that this is 4th down territory.
This was probably why I thought on 2nd down, just an old school fashion downhill running play. Get closer to the goal line, and then you have more of an ability to maybe run or pass when you get a little bit closer. So that's why I was a little taken back by maybe that shovel. But at the same time, a better pitch decision, and it's probably 10-0.
All right,
yeah, well, they're going for the field goal over here. I don't blame them. And just real quick, since they're going for 3, I'm looking over other scores around college football. Washington State is up 21-7. Cam Ward has 213 yards and 2 touchdowns so far. And Jay Kelly, 5 receptions, 120 yards and a touchdown. So Washington State going off, and I picked them to win. So, yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, we'll see if Skubie is right when we return next week. For Matt Sims, Skubie Mageza, I'm Sam Ravech. Thanks so much for joining us this week. Thanks for watching the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. We'll see you in Week 5, folks.